What is going on YouTube? I wanted to make another separate video in a shorter video regarding my advanced parole and the smooth process coming back into the US. I know a lot of our dreamer our fellow dreamer friends out there have a lot of fear coming back into the US. I had the same fear, just like everybody else that did it the same way and the first time. You always have that fear because the document says it's not guaranteed to get you back in, but a lot of those things there's factors on why you wouldn't be able to come in. For example, if you overstay past the date that's on the document, if they find drugs or anything that will potentially be danger for the US or whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, what gets you in is the inspection. To be safe, to be on the safe side, I just brought clothes, my wallet, my letter, and that's it. I didn't bring anything that had to do with liquids or anything that could raise a red flag. Like, I didn't, and some of my family members wanted to send stuff to my parents. I told them, I was like, for this trip, I don't want to have any problems at the airport. I'm just taking my clothes and whatever I brought, and that's it, because I didn't want to raise any red flags anywhere, and that's it. So whenever I was going to Mexico is easy. You just show your passport, your plane tickets, and you're good to go. It's the coming back part that I was stressing out. Coming back part. Just because I have my wife, my house, I have everything here. I'm the breadwinner, and it was very nerve-wracking because of that. But so Tapachula is all the way like close to Guatemala. Like, it's a small airport. It's a small building compared to the Mexico City airport, or Atlanta or Nashville airport, whatever. It's tiny. And so the boarding was really easy. They'll show your time or whatever. And whenever I went up there to check in, just remember to check in person. That's what a lot of people recommend. Don't check in on the app or online. Always do it in person. So I went up to the front. I was like, yes, I'm going to Mexico City, because I was gonna go from Mexico City to Tapachula, from Tapachula to Mexico City, from Mexico City to Atlanta to Nashville. So at the Tapachula airport, they asked me, they were like, where are you heading to? I was like, Mexico City. But what's your final destination? Oh, Nashville, Tennessee, in the US. And they're like, let me see your residence card and your passport. I told them, I was like, I don't have a residence card. I have an advance parole letter and my passport. And they were like, all right, let me see that. I flew with Delta, and then Delta is partnered with Aero Mexico in Mexico. So Aero Mexico was the one that was that I was going to board from Tapachula to Mexico City. So they were like, all right, no problem. They look at my document, passport, gave me my tickets. Then after that, you have to go through inspection to get into the plane. That was smooth. Like I said, handed them my AP letter, my passport, smooth, good to go. Gave them plane tickets, inspection, and then after that, go find your seat. Very, very smooth. And so I was like, all right, and I've told people all the time, take it hour by hour. Don't stress about what's gonna happen. I know your mind stresses out for what's gonna happen, but you can control on what you can think. Because, like, for example, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos. I'm gonna focus on something else rather than trying to focus on that. And then once I land into Mexico City is a big airport. Just follow all the signs. And once I got off, there's a line for I think, hold on. No, you just have to go through the signs where it says connection flights. Once you go through the connection flight, it'll start to say where your seat is or whatever. And then I found my seat for Atlanta, and they actually, like 20 minutes before we were boarding, everybody gathers up and sits down or whatever, and then make sure you have, if you have headphones, make sure one is in and one is out, so you can hear if there's anything going on. They actually called a few people up there to verify some information. They called me up, and I was like, I mean, it wasn't weird, but I didn't expect this to happen in Mexico. But anyways, they called me up and they were like, where are you flying to? I was like, Atlanta. They're like, do you have your green card or visa, or what do you have? And I was like, I have my advance parole letter, and I handed it over to her. And then she was like, where's your passport? Handed that over to her. And then they were like, okay, fill this little form out, this little tiny form, like a little card. And it says, ask for your name, I believe your name, how long you stayed in Mexico, and I think that's it. I don't recall. It's not sensitive information. It just wants you to fill out a form, a little card. No questions asked. They're like, good to go. Sat back down. I was like, whew. Oh, felt such a relief. Texted my parents, my wife, good to go. About to head to Atlanta. And I'll tell you this, like I said, everybody gets nervous. I was super nervous landing in the United States and them saying, oh, you can't, you can't enter. You got to go back to Mexico. So I was stressing about that to the point where I think I went to the bathroom like 3 times on the plane. It was a 4-hour ride on the plane, but I went to the bathroom like 3 times. I felt sorry for the people that were beside me because I was on the window seat. I was like, sorry, I got one more time. And that's what it was. But once I took the flight from Mexico City to Atlanta, it was not Aero Mexico anymore. It was Delta. That's where they're partners. And I gotta say, they're very informed with DACA, with advance parole, things like that. So kudos to them. I always thank God that everything went smooth. And once I landed to Atlanta, then you have to follow the signs. You have to go through immigration, and there's a line for U.S. citizens, Canadians, foreigners, and something else. And I was like, well, I'm still considered Mexican, so I'm gonna go to the foreign line. So I went in there. It was a bit of a line, and I waited until it was my turn. Officer called me up, like, let me get your visa or residence card. Again, I was like, I have an AP letter. Here it is. I actually handed the officer my advance parole letter, passport, my work permit, my DACA work permit, and my driver's license. He gave me back my driver's license and my DACA permit. He says, I don't need those. I just need your advance parole letter and your passport. I was like, cool. So I gave him that, and he grabbed this other gentleman that was standing right there, and he was like, he'd take him to the room, which is the famous the room, cuartito or whatever. And I followed him. He took me there. There was only 2 people in there, and I got called before them after like being there for like a minute or 2 minutes. And they're like, they called my name, and I went up to the desk, and they're like, you're good to go. No questions asked whatsoever. They just said, you're good to go. I looked at my AP letter, it was stamped. I looked at my passport, it got stamped. I could not believe it. I was like, I done made it. I done made it. So happy. I texted my wife, my family, my advance parole letter stamp and passport stamp. and I could breathe again. I could breathe again. And then I went over to the flight to Nashville, and that's all she wrote. I was happy. I was grateful. It was smooth. So anybody that is fear, it's totally fine. I'm telling you this right now. Just feel all your emotions, because at the end of the day, when you look back, you're going to realize that you're only being human. I mean, you're only being human, right? I mean, fear of flying is one thing. Fear of coming into the U.S. is another thing. My thing was coming back into the U.S., being able to support my family again. That was my biggest fear, but I've made it. Taking the steps now to do adjustment of status, and so soon that I can, travel back and forth without any problems. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be uploading a lot of personal stuff here, advices, just my life pretty much. So appreciate you guys stopping by, watching the video. We'll see you guys in the next video.